When people ask me how they can better prepare for an interview, I always mention the STARinterview method. It stands for situation, task, action, and result. And it's a tool to help you clearly organize your thoughts and be able to get to the meat of the question. Hi, I'm Jules Boulter, and I'm a talent acquisition specialist here at CHG Healthcare. And today we're going to talk about our process to hopefully make it more clear for you so you can feel really confident as you apply. You can use it to practice. You can get a friend to ask you questions and just take a minute, think through, what's the situation? What task did I have to fulfill? What's the action I took? And what's the result of this? That'll give interviewers what they're looking for. One thing that I recommend is you can Google questions that you might expect to come for an interview. If you're struggling with how to organize your resume, you're not alone. The thing to keep in mind is that a resume is just a tool. So it doesn't need to be something that is this artistic wonder. Just try and organize things in a way that's easy for someone to see pretty quickly. A couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, check for grammatical errors. Make sure that's something you double and triple check. Another thing that can sometimes disqualify people for a role is if it's a really, really long, wordy resume. Just target the things that are really important for that role. Double check your dates on your employment areas. Sometimes you can get disqualified if it looks like you've been job hopping. If you have some job gaps in your resume, that's okay, it's not a deal breaker, but it might be worth it to try to find some ways to restructure. So maybe focusing more on your skill set. If you really feel uncomfortable with your resume, you can go with a professional resume writing company. It can be really helpful if you have the resources for it. Don't neglect your LinkedIn profile. Nowadays, that's a huge tool that recruiters use to find new employees. So make sure that you're updating that and also put that you're open to work. CHG Healthcare's interview process can change a little bit depending on the role. So I always recommend that you ask your recruiter what the process will be. But in general, our process goes a little bit like this. You'll apply for the role, a recruiter will review your application, and if you look like a fit, then they'll reach out to schedule an interview with you, usually over the phone, and they'll talk about just the basics for the role. They'll talk about CHG's culture and be able to answer any questions you might have. And then they'll send your info over to the hiring manager. And if they want to move forward, then typically you'll have a call or a Zoom interview with them. And then after that, it'll be a team interview or a panel interview. There might be a couple other extra steps, maybe a coding exercise if it's a more technical role, a written exercise. So that's why I recommend talking to your recruiter. All in all, the process can take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. There are 2 questions I ask any applicant. The first one is, tell me about a time where you were successful in your role, because I really want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to celebrate their wins. I also want to know about the different ways that they are successful, what a team can do to make sure they're supported, what a company can do to make sure that they're able to succeed. It's not just the company evaluating you to make sure you're a perfect fit, it's you being able to evaluate a company and make sure it's a place that you'll thrive. The other question I ask is kind of the opposite of that. It's, tell me about a time where you made a mistake in your role. I ask that not to try and catch an applicant, but I want to make sure that they're able to express their ability to learn from a failure and to grow, to demonstrate their growth mindset, and to also understand that it's okay to make mistakes. I think transferable skills are very valuable to a point. What I recommend to someone who might have a profile that's different is make sure that it's kind of on you to prove that you're a good fit for the role. Anytime you're interviewing for a position, remember that every single person wants you to succeed. First of all, go over the job posting and kind of get a feel for what they're looking for. That will help you understand why a specific skill is a requirement. And if that's not a skill that you possess, but you know that you can do those things because of, say, your experience in a specific industry, know how you're going to answer that. Know that you can prove that. Our values aren't just, nice sayings that we put on the wall. They're things that we use to drive our behaviors and the decisions we make as a company. One of our main values is putting people first. And the only way that works is if we have diversity and inclusion in mind. So I've seen our company demonstrate this commitment to diversity and inclusion in several ways. Last year, we had a lot of roundtables to make sure that our underrepresented employees were able to express the different concerns and experiences that they've had in the workplace. A few years ago, we also achieved pay parity to make sure that people are getting paid the same by location and role, regardless of genders. So we make sure that we're living up to our values of putting people first. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video helped you understand CHG Healthcare's process a little bit more so you can go out with confidence as you're applying. I know that the interview process can be a little bit daunting, but you're going to do great. You're going to find a great role for you. So we wish you good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.